Crepes, Leadership, and Pancakes. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I didn't have crepes or pancakes. I did have waffles, and I had my coffee. What y'all have?
I feel like the reigning champ on this one. This is the second time I've made a whole crepe bar.
Really? What did you use the Disney cookbook?
We did, yeah.
What?
Yeah, actually, I say I made crepes. I shouldn't take that much credit for it. My daughter actually did the majority of the making. I just helped her put everything together.
Oh, hey man, hey, it's a
and of
family
course, my wife
effort.
took care of all the fruits and the layout and made it pretty.
Man, you ain't got no pictures, man. What's up, man? You didn't share?
I know. I feel pretty bad about that one. It was it's a lot easier to step back and take pictures when you're the only person doing the work, though. I'll tell you that.
That's true. That's true. Well, did they turn out? Were they good? They were delicious. Had to be delicious.
Amazing. Absolutely delicious.
Awesome. What about you, fellas? What y'all have for breakfast this morning?
Nothing. I'm finna go make my coffee now. But we are in full prep mode. I'm gonna have my platoon sergeants over for dinner later today.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. Shout out to the platoon sergeants coming to see first sausage. First sausage.
That's right, baby.
Hey, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. That is so wonderful, man. It's good stuff. Yo, that's what we're here to talk about, leadership, man. So I'm gonna open it up with this, man. I heard something this week that had me laughing. It had me. I was thinking about it, and I just wanted to see what you guys thought about it. So there was this thing going around on TikTok or whatever the social media platform is, and it's a bunch of the wives playing this audio. Y'all probably heard it for their husbands and getting a blind reaction, right? Y'all seen that?
Oh, yeah, I've seen some of that.
And I'm thinking, I'm like, it's funny, but it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
And it's like leadership isn't just like in the industry or in the military, right? Leadership is in the marriage too, right? Your relationships. And let me pause. I'm not saying that there's one person leading the other person, but leadership is in there, right?
It is. The principles of it.
The principles of leadership are there. And I was just thinking that as I was listening to it, because it was popping up everywhere. Everybody's doing this blind reaction. And I was thinking, man, I'm like, we would not be listening to this if through leadership, communication was a little... if we all practice bettering, if that's a word, our communication, right? So instead of saying, like the gentleman was saying, oh, why'd you park here? I would have never parked here. Oh, whatever. If you want something done, say what you want to have done and be wise. How you say it, right? So like if you want to have the, when we go to the grocery store, park in this spot. Honey, would you park in this spot? Not why you didn't park in this spot.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No mind reading.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. Or if you say, hey, execute this task, your honey-do list, you could say, on this task, can you do it like this? Because most people, I won't speak for everybody, a lot of people, if you just give them those specifics, and they don't have to, because if you tell me to do something, I'm gonna go execute in the swiftest fashion, right?
That's right.
I'm gonna execute, but I might not execute on what you're thinking, how you would like for it to be executed.
Yeah, how you envisioned it.
Yeah, especially if you like an artist, or if you like, if you're particular on certain things. Like for me, if I'm gonna cut the grass, I was talking to Matt earlier about the grass, right? For me, a home with no grass is great.
I'm living that greatness and yet suffering through it at the same time right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, man. And so if I cut the grass, I don't have a green thumb, so I'm cutting it as low as possible so I don't have to cut it as often. I learned that I'm killing the grass because it gets burnt, and it's like everybody else's is green, mine is brown, and I'm like, it's close enough to concrete for me. I don't know,
That's
man.
what.
What y'all think? Am I too far left or what? What's the deal?
No, communication, clear communication is something that we actually focus on pretty heavy in PA school, because one of the hardest things for new providers to learn is how to communicate what the information they need from patients, because communication across the board, I'm not good at communication. That's why I'm working on this right now. But you have to understand.
That's why we're here, brother.
What you're trying to say, and you have to understand your audience as well. And I think that I know that I've had that as a leader. I understand something because I've been in the Army for a long time, and it makes sense to me. You tell a soldier, "Hey, I need you to do this," and they do not get that message.
Right.
No.
Because I didn't take myself and my audience's cues.
That's a really good point. And one of the things that you mentioned was mind reading.
Yes.
Huge thing, right? Joe, you know all about mind reading. You have to be a mind reading when you're first sergeant. You got a commander, and there it is. You got to understand all of that. But there's that shared understanding that we have to have, and you're probably going to build some of that shared understanding with your platoon sergeants later today. So I applaud you on that. But that shared understanding almost creates that sense of mind reading, that ability to say, hey, we're going to go in this direction. And when people understand you, they understand the mission, they understand what their role is in it, as is the definition of shared understanding. They all go, we're going this direction, and therefore I know, one, I got to back this up, make sure the vehicles are ready, make sure they're packed, make sure the soldiers are good, make sure we're doing my PCIs, make sure we're ready to move so that we can execute, because I know what's in that direction. It's almost mind reading when it's done right. It's just, you got to take a lot of time prepping the battlefield and getting everybody on that same page, so you don't have to spend 20, 30 minutes every single time you say we're going in that direction. Show of hands, who doesn't know what we got to do to get there? Right. Who doesn't know what's down that road,
Right. That's good. Unmute, Joseph. Unmute.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, Matt, Phil and Matt, I love both what you're saying. Kind of jump on that a little bit. It's very tough to. That's what makes leadership so tough, is communication and your ability to be able to do it, especially when you're dealing with more than one person.
Right.
And I remember last April when I took the company, the extreme challenge was to learn how to talk to the soldiers, and before they can read my mind in a positive way versus the negative mind reading, jumping to conclusions type of deal, is they got to spend time with me and I got to spend time with them, and we got to talk about more than just work. That's the key.
Yeah.
We got to talk about other stuff, your hopes, your dreams, your passions, and as you learn that, then for me, then I know more of how to talk to somebody so that they know when I say it like this, first arm means business, or oh no man, you got plenty of lax room with that. No, but he said he wanted right. He said he wanted this, but this is how he wants it. I know you're new to the team, but this is what is meant. Or the other way around, they come and say, hey, well, I was hoping that we might be able to talk in a little while. Okay, that means you want to talk today. So let me cut everything off my schedule so we can talk right now, so you can get this off your chest. Yeah. And so, communication is a beautiful thing, man.
That's good. Yeah. So we need to always be perfecting our communication skills, is what I'm hearing y'all say.
Yes, always.
And we'll never get there, but they say practice make perfect. I heard somebody say perfect practice makes perfect. Right?
You know what? I like that. I like perfect practice makes perfect.
Yeah, and we'll never get to perfect, but at least if we're practicing and we continuing to perfect that art of practicing, we'll get better.
Certainly.
All right, so here we go. 3 strategies for leading through difficult times is what we were talking about today. It's by Rasmus Haugard, Jacqueline Carter, and Rob Stembridge. It's an article on leadership. They published it on May 27, 2022. All right, Matt, I'm gonna give this summary, and you got some notes inside of here that we're gonna highlight.
Yeah.
But the summary. Leaders have had a very tough 2 years trying to reassure and focus employees in the face of constant uncertainty. Really. Often struggling with their own stress and burnout as they address the rising mental health challenges of... Oh, it cut off. Okay, well... So basically what to surmise it is they were talking about from COVID during the pandemic timeframe of 2020 up until now. Leaders have been facing this challenge of still shaping, molding, and pushing their organizations forward while dealing with the constant sand of employees not trying to come back to work.
Yeah.
Working from home.
Yes, exactly.
Like HRC is still going.
Yeah. So Matt, you this was a great article from you, man. You want to hit us off with the first part?
Well, absolutely. So the first key or strategy that they talk about here is beware of your ego. And again, I think I sent out some screenshots of the book that I'm rereading again, and I'm probably gonna have to reread it 3 or 4 times before I go. It's called "Ego is the Enemy."
Yes.
I know you guys have heard of that one. But the first one, beware the ego, and I highlighted in here: an inflated ego narrows our vision and makes us look for information that confirms what we want to believe. Nothing worse than that confirmation bias, and we make it worse by having that ego and saying, I believe I'm right, and I surround myself with people who say I'm right, and therefore the one person who says I'm wrong, well, they're wrong, because all these other people are telling me I'm right. If you have too much of an ego, what do we got? Yes, that's it right there. If you have too much of an ego to be open to corrections, to any kind of questioning of what you're saying, then the people around you, if they're your subordinates, are either going to rail against you, quit, or just, all right, I guess we're going to fall in line with what this guy says and survive this leader,
Yeah. Hey, what's the I'm new to this. What's this confirmation bias that you speak of?
Aha, confirmation bias. Looking for ways to prove that you're right. Looking for things that prove that your ideas are correct, and basically ignoring the things that might say otherwise.
But leaders don't do that. They never try to find ways to think, and that will support their way of being. I've never seen a leader. I'm lying, y'all. For those who don't know, I am lying. We have all experienced, in some cases together, leaders who they would find, and you would be like, please, bro, listen, this is not a good path to go down. It's like, no. Don't worry, I got this.
We're gonna do it.
Yep.
So yeah, be careful, man. Check your ego at the door.
Yes.
A lot of times in leadership, the thing that I really love about what the Army and the military has gone to is it's what's the phrase that we're using now for humble leaders? Servant leadership.
Yeah, servant leadership.
And a lot of times we forget that as a sergeant, the word sergeant stems from what the French word that means servant, right?
Yes.
And we forget that as the leader, we are here to serve as well. We might not be doing the same type of service as our subordinates are doing, but we're there to take care of them and make sure that they're able to do those things. I love it when they say the Army goes rolling along, because it puts into the mindset that the Army is a machine. It's a machine, and it functions, and it will function. We are parts of that machine. right? And important parts. All of us are important parts, but the sad thing is you have to realize is that the most important thing for us is as the humanized part of that machine. If we don't take care of the human side of our people, the part side of that won't function, and we'll continue to find ourselves changing out parts. So that's why you got to make sure you check your ego, because this day, who has not heard, that's just the way we've always done it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you get to, this is the way we've always done it.
Back in my day.
Yeah.
That phrase hurts my soul every time I hear it.
Come on, Phil, preach it. Back in my day, hey, come on, Doc. This is how it's always done. You're like, but you know that medicine gets better as time. That's why we're able to save lives faster. That's why we have quick clotting factor. That's why we have the new tourniquets. That's why we have these things, because we get better as time goes on. So check your ego at the door, leader, and listen to what your people have to say, because somebody is an Einstein. They may be in your formation, and they may renovate and just totally just disrupt the way we do things to bring us into the 22nd and 23rd century. So, yeah, on that.
You just hit on something that I think is really important, that gets missed a lot, about how much our subordinates know and how much they're good at, and how ego can completely discredit them. I have had so many soldiers that are smarter than me all the time, and they come up with ideas that I couldn't even think of to fix problems. And your ego and giving them the control, giving them the power to take care of stuff sometimes can be hard, but you can really get some amazing results.
Joe, what you doing over there, man? You got a lot of stuff going on in that background.
Yeah. Hold on, let me show y'all real quick. Can I flip this thing around?
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
There you go.
Okay, you doing it up.
And there we go.
Very nice.
Figure if I get in the car now, break a few speed limits, I might be able to be there by dinner.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
and
nice.
But I was listening.
Oh no, we know.
I love your standpoint on that, man. Just how much soldiers really do know, and I remember a real wise leader once told me years ago. He said, if you take care of your soldiers with the same care and compassion as you would want somebody to take care of your children,
that's right.
You'll be all right. And I remember in Psych 102, lifespan growth and development, one of the principles in there for you to be able to have a better understanding of what we like to call the terrible twos. It's not really terrible twos. It's that little human being trying to express their autonomy. They're demanding autonomy. I want to do some things on my own, and they just don't have all the framework yet. But the job of the parent is to get them the framework so that they still grow as a human being. Yeah. But you got to remember that little tiny ball of meat is a human being. It's a human being. It's born with personality traits, character flaws, and strengths. All of it. They're born with all that. Now to relate that to soldiers. I don't want to use the word exploit, but I like it. It's the way it works in my little tiny head of understanding what soldiers are really good at, because that complements the things, and 9 times out of 10, it complements the things that I'm really, really bad at. And so take advantage of those strengths. Like, what, you got a better way of doing this? Yeah, the old way took a long time. Show me the new way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Show me the way.
Yeah.
That word's only bad when you're exploiting it without any benefit for them or for the group. So if you're that toxic leader that says, hey, you're good at writing things, so I'm gonna have you write everybody's counseling, and then I'll have them read it, and then they'll sign it. You're doing the work for them, right? You get none of the credit. Or you're gonna write these reports or do these things, but I'm not gonna give you any credit for it. You're not gonna be noticed for it, and you're just gonna be overworked over here. And that's all I'm gonna do. That's exploiting in a negative way. But exploiting something positive like that, you got a strength. Teach us about this so we get better. Let me pair you with someone who's not that good at that so everybody gets better.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that word. You just got to make sure that people understand that it's used in the right way.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Look, they
That's
say
beautiful, man.
smart people surround themselves with smarter people.
That's right.
And I totally believe that when you're a leader, especially when you get up into the company, battalion, brigade levels, or in the hospital, and you got, especially if you're in the hospital and you working with civilians too, you got to realize that every last one of these people have a strength. And if you're able to understand that some of these people may be smarter than you, not necessarily collectively, but like in certain areas, what they call it, talent management.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
If leaders can learn how to manage talent, and you can tap into that person's gifts, and then you say, when you say, okay, I'm gonna let you operate in your gift, like Matt was saying, okay, I want you to work on, I want you to be my writer, right? You're gonna not to write, but to help us get better as a unit at writing. So now this person is working in their gifts and in what they are good at, and then they say, man, this person allows for me. I feel like I could be myself. Now when you say, okay, now your weakness, I need you to strengthen that. And I'm going to pair you with this person right here because this is their strength. So now you're utilizing all of the strengths and you bringing up all of the weaknesses, and you're not pointing out anybody like making them feel bad about anything, but now your group is growing, and then they take that same mentality into their next, place, and then they reciprocate. And so now it wasn't just that squad, it's the company, it's the battalion, brigade, division, army. Yeah, so we got off of that. Does go into the beware of your ego, because if you're watching your ego, you check your ego, you're able to do those things, and you see the goodness in other people, pull them out, extract it, and it make them better. It makes the team better.
And you know something, Tay?
What's that?
What I really love about what you're saying is because, and about this subcategory, is that it took years for the Army to actually put humility into Army doctrine.
Yeah.
It was only up to 3 years ago, when the NCO Guide and leadership doctrines were all updated and separated.
Yeah.
To where humility is actually now one of the principles of leadership in Army doctrine.
Go figure. Humility. You don't need humility when you got wall-to-wall counselors, bro.
That's right. You don't need that, right? What was the game we used to win? I win.
Rank,
you don't
paper,
need
scissors.
that, bro. You don't need the wall counseling, man. They had. I still have the document, the regulation for it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
and it's a great thing for it to be written down so that leaders learn the importance of moving from leading by compliance to leading by commitment. Of when a soldier makes that commitment, they'll give you much more than what you demanding from a compliance standpoint would ever yield. And they have more self-worth and more job satisfaction, all that good stuff coming from that. And it's an art. I was looking for the paper that I wrote, but when I won NCO the Porter when I was an instructor, I was at the board and I talked from this perspective on humility, partly to get at my CSM because she was really, really arrogant.
It happens
a lot.
And she was not pleased to have read my paper. She did not like it at all.
No.
Yeah. The first army sitting on the board, they seemed to like it. She didn't like it too much. And so she challenged me on it, and she says to me, so are you trying to say that because a leader is arrogant, that they won't be successful? And because the part that she was talking about in there, I said that humility opens doors that arrogance closes. And so she said, are you trying to say that arrogant leaders won't be successful? I said, no. You see arrogant leaders at every echelon of leadership, and doing very well most of the time. I said, but from the Army perspective, An arrogant leader is less approachable than a humble leader. A humble leader has a much wider range of soldiers that will come to them with their problems,
Yeah.
because they're not going to feel judged when they come talk to you.
Yeah,
And
man.
she just looked at me. She looked like she wanted to kick me out of the board, but she did not.
Look, and that falls back on the quote that I love from Colin Powell, man, where he talks about once you have lost the soldiers,
Yes.
you have failed as the leader.
When soldiers stop coming to you with their problems.
Yeah, when they stop bringing you their problems, man, and just so there's another board question that goes with that. Can a toxic leader be successful? Absolutely.
Yes.
Right?
Most of the time they are.
And you'll see them, like you said, you'll see a leader that is not that great and is not effective, but people, if the junior leaders are good, you're deflecting that bad leadership anyways. I'm sure we've all been there, right? We showed our people from, and the beauty of command authority is we know what the commander's mission is, what the mission statement, what our point of effort is, right? And so regardless if our plane got shot down and we landed and we're in mixed company, we know what our mission is. And so we collectively gather ourselves and we continue mission, whether that's with the people who we trained it up with or the group, the band of brothers who we put together on the ground, right? We put them together and we complete the mission. And so because of that, because you have good leaders who actually will be in those ranks, you have people who can, unfortunately, that person who is over us will get the credit. However, if you take a temperature check, that's what's so hard. Have you ever had a command climate survey where you felt torn on putting what your heart says because it may reflect the wrong people? I've had that. It's like I don't want to say this what's happening because it's gonna make this leader look bad. However, if you don't say it, then they don't know and nothing can happen to it. So what do? And so this is gonna segue into our second part of it. It talks about choose courage over comfort.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate those waters of choosing to be courageous over I'm just gonna be comfortable in what I'm choosing to do and I'm gonna lead like that, being comfortable instead of saying, you know what, I'm not gonna be the shield for the soldiers. They tell me to do something, we're gonna go execute it. Because leaders don't push back on what the commands are they're given, right?
Yeah.
We don't challenge authority behind doors tactfully. We don't do that, right?
No, we don't do that, man. Come on now. That's not how it rolls.
It's yes. That's what we're gonna do. Yes. Sounds good. Your robe looks wonderful, Emperor.
Hey, as a matter of fact, how does Kevin Hart say it? Don't be the yes. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, sure, I'll do it. Yeah.
Yep. What's y'all's thought on that? Comfort, choose courage over comfort.
Well, if I can tap into what Phil is doing right now in one of the hardest schools there is available, few things worth having are easy to obtain. And that is a struggle you're going through right now with a lot of sacrifices, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. I think for me the core of this concept of courage over comfort is understanding what's valuable to each person. You know, if it's valuable to you, if it's worthwhile, you know, whatever it is, just doing the right thing or challenging a leader or pointing out something that's wrong or not being done right. You know, you have to build the values for that. You know, why is this important to you? And I think if you have a good base in your values, it makes it easier to choose that courage. It's easier to be like, hey, you know, hey, Sergeant Major, you know, you're wrong, and you're wrong for these reasons. And, you know, but if you have a good base of your values, it makes it easier to take that step.
Yeah, very true.
I love that, Phil. Knowing the base of your values. I don't remember how I came upon it for myself, But for me, just as an individual, I have 3 life guiding principles. I love the number 3. 3 represents completion.
Please.
Just like our topics today, right? We have 3 principles. And so for me, to describe myself to anybody, or you want to know where I stand on an issue, these are my principles. I'm a man of faith. I'm a family man, and I love my job as a non-commissioned officer. I really don't like my MOS. Those who know me know I don't like my MOS. But I certainly love my role, my functions as a non-commissioned officer. And when I'm talking with somebody about it, trying to help a younger soldier get to know themselves better, because the NCO guy back in the day, I'll say it like that, back in the day, and it still does, talks about self-awareness. And you can't really lead if you are not self-aware of what you're good at and what you're not good at, and where you stand on an issue. And you certainly can't find your courage if you don't know what you believe in.
Yeah.
I love, and Matt, you had highlighted it in there. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the preservation of mind to continue ongoing in the face of fear, adversity. But if you don't know what you believe in, there is no way in the world you're going to face a fear, or you're going to become uncomfortable. Allow yourself to become uncomfortable because of somebody else's shortcoming. It's not going to happen. Just like you were talking about, Tay, of writing it down. I'm not going to write it down, especially if I'm thinking somebody may figure out that it was me. Yeah. And so I really love, Matt, how you said nothing worth having comes easy.
It's true. That's where we come in as leaders too. Leaders and mentors, because we are, as the article says right here, we're hardwired to seek out that comfort zone, to seek out that safety, and find a way to be there, right? That's survival. But there's so much more than survival, and that's where, again, good mentorship recognizes potential. It's not just to be mean that I say to soldiers, hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to take a chance and try this. Hey, I noticed that you're good at this, but you've thought about this. It's our job to push them into that slightly uncomfortable position in that job and that task or whatever, so that they can develop, so they can see, well, I've got a little spark of something that I'm okay at, and I kind of enjoy it. Maybe that's something I can develop and bring to the team, bring to me, and make me better for everybody else.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, hold on, Matt. Hold on. Say that last part again. Say that last part again.
I was actually reading a note while I said it. I have no idea what I said, Joe.
You said make me better for everyone else.
Yes. Yep. Bringing it to the team. It's not just about developing you, and that's something that we recognize, something that senior leaders and some mid-grade and even some junior leaders recognize. I'm not making you better, and I'm not making me better for me alone, but my family. Bring it back to the family. Bring it back to that marriage. For my kids, for my soldiers, for my leaders, because your job is always easier when you do your boss's job, or at least know it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, it's something that I like to pump myself up with as a non-commissioned officer, is I can do a commissioned officer's job, right? It's not easy. I can do it. If I have to, called upon, I can serve in both roles.
Right.
However, if the roles are flipped, then that organization is going to begin to suffer, because we NCOs are not doing our job, not doing your job. And so you need to know everybody's job. PLDC used to teach it like that. You need to know your subordinate's job, your leader's job, and your job.
Right.
So that continuity always continues.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull something out there real quick that ties into that one. And it's not Army, I know, but leaders are leaders, and the service is the service to an extent. It's actually Navy.
Leadership, man.
Come on, leadership.
I got to clean my tongue off after saying that word. No, it's Navy. But a Navy petty officer that I used to know said the way a ship runs is, as long as the commander gives their intent,
Yes.
And the soldier, rather the sailors, the NCOs understand what the mission is. Every officer on that ship could fall asleep, or die, and that mission would be completed.
Yeah.
The ship would come into port, and they would do what they were supposed to do.
Right.
But if the NCOs never got back on after Liberty, the ship would sink in a day.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and it's true. We're not trained. We're not expected. And we don't necessarily do well when we only focus on the up and the out, the big picture, right? That's what our officer counterparts are there for.
That's right.
But we have to be able to understand that and see that so we can
Right.
implement it as well.
Right. That's good. So
That's super good.
in the article it says, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm reading this book called In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day. And the whole thing is, when you're faced with this opposition, now can you picture yourself realizing that you've been stalked by a lion? And you turn and face the lion and chase it. I just don't know. So the lion isn't necessarily, a lion. It's whatever it is, that fear, whatever that thing is that could cause that immediate fear. Hey, you're going to be the sergeant major for a while. You're going to be the commander for a while. You're going to be XYZ for a while. And whatever that fear is, you can turn and run. You could give the excuses. You could do whatever. Or you can turn, face it, and chase that thing down, right? Because a lot of times what's going to happen is you're going to grow in that situation. You're going to be blessed in that situation once you chase it down. Now, I do not recommend anybody going and chasing a lion. Please hear me out. Don't go chasing real
speed, man.
Don't go chasing lions. Please. They're going to be like, hey, on Coffee, Crepes, Leadership, and Pancakes, they said chase lion. No.
I am taking the family to the zoo tomorrow, so I'm just saying.
Don't be chasing no lions, man. I cannot confirm or deny anything. Okay. Look.
They're past the ACFT.
Hey, it'll definitely help if you get past that lion, yeah.
One closing comment on that one that I tied together that I think the getting out of our comfort zones will really help with, and that we need to remind our soldiers or our peers even about, is what got you here won't get you there. Real simple, but real powerful. Continue to do what you're doing, and that's great. But if you only do what you're doing, you're spinning your wheels.
You're not growing.
You're not bringing everything you can to the fight.
That's good, Matt. Look, she says in the article, choose courage over comfort. It puts us in a vulnerable position. So when you choose courage over comfort, you're in a vulnerable position, right? Because we will likely take heat and make mistakes as we venture into uncertain territory. But this vulnerability opens the door for others to be vulnerable too. If we face our fears and mess up sometimes, we allow people to see our humanity and invite them to share theirs too. So that's good. If you're vulnerable, man, you grow, right? You're uncomfortable. So you're in a position of learning and growing. Our third principle, practice caring transparency. Practice caring transparency. So, what did you guys get out of this one, out of this section?
I actually connected it to the portion that you just read about being vulnerable, because it leads to the doorway of transparency for somebody to actually understand who you are as a human being. And I think it's safe to say, especially in this esteemed panel, that we could be considered very high speed at times, and it can create enemies. People that just really, really don't like you, and they can end up sitting in their mind saying, "I'm going to do all of my power to destroy you." And I think everybody here, I mean, shoot, at least 3 of us had one in common at a time.
No.
Same individual trying to destroy all 3 of us. So, and you know what? Yeah. 2 of y'all up under your leadership. However, that vulnerability piece when they're attempting to spread the propaganda about you amongst the masses, when you're a transparent leader. Something I seen, he was my senior rater when I was in instructor. His name was Colonel Arbo. I'll even put his name out there. Great leader. And he came in, and within 3 weeks, and the reason why it took him 3 weeks is because he had to wait to get his counseling, but he sent out his counseling from his rater and senior rater, along with his SRP and his support form to everybody that he rated. And it blew my mind. I had never seen anybody do this. This is a full-grown colonel sending it out because he wants everybody to know that what I ask of you is being asked of me, and this is a team effort. And he allowed himself to, because there were other 06s there. They could have tried to take advantage of that and do harm to him, but he put his fears aside, and he sent that out for the purpose of pulling everybody to him. And some people would think that being a transparent leader will make you weaker and you'll lose command and that kind of deal. And truthfully, I haven't seen that in my experience.
That's good.
Just pull people closer to you.
Showing you're human, showing you vulnerable. I mean, vulnerable people are approachable.
Yep.
One of the things that was a hard lesson for me to learn was ask for help every once in a while.
Yeah.
No, I can do it, and I can do it, and I can help you. All right, there, Superman. Thanks a lot. Well, I guess I'm not coming to you with any more problems because you can't relate, right? You're not that relatable person. You're the Mr. Perfect who hasn't screwed up, or even worse, won't admit when you've screwed up.
Right.
Being vulnerable and saying, "I need a hand," or "Hey, can I talk to you about this?" or just opening yourself up and saying, bringing other people in, saying, "Hey, I'm human too." You know? But not just saying it, showing it and doing it.
Showing it,
yeah. I when you guys were talking about it, it reminded me of when I played football in high school. I made varsity my freshman year, and then while I was in there, I was terrified because I'm this little small guy. My mom was like, "No, he can't play football." My dad was like, "Yeah, you can play football. Go do it." And I make varsity, right? And I'm looking at the team, and then I'm looking at all the helmets, and the people who had the most nicks and dings and stuff were the people who I wanted to get information from. Like, you've been through some things. You got some war wounds. So it's like they want to see our nicks in our armor. They want to know that we've been through and that maybe we failed at this too. How do you know that this works? Because I did it wrong the first time. Trust me, when I'm telling you that this is, you don't want to do it like this, maybe try this. Or if you have another way, try that, but don't do it like that. When you're vulnerable and you're open and you share that stuff, you are probably going to get more people that's going to come and sit at your fireside with you and have that barbecue at their senior's house.
Tay, you saying that, man. It's something that I saw her end up putting her out, but something she said to me one day, and it hit me in a different way. She let me know, and y'all seen what my little spot in Germany was set up like, but she said, coming in there, whenever she had to come see me, she was like, you can be intimidating. And I was like, really? How so? What have I said? Me thinking my words are what's intimidating. She said, no. When a soldier comes in here and look at all the stuff that you got, it can be intimidating for somebody that's trying to find themselves. And I said, man, it took a while for that to really take root. Man, it's something that you just said, Tay, that you gotta have some setbacks. And so kind of the way I say it now, when a soldier comes into the office, they're already coming in to see the person on trembling knees. And then they look around and like, man, this dude ain't never done nothing wrong in his life. And no, that's not the case. The reason why you see this stuff is because I have done some things wrong.
Right.
Somebody gave me another shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really important. It took me a long time to discover this and figure it out, especially one-on-one and talking with soldiers, counseling, mentoring, things like that. to acknowledge, our personal mistakes, weaknesses, because it's, none of us got here where we're at by doing everything right the first time.
No.
And or the second time,
Sometimes.
But
How many ever it was?
Sitting down and telling, hey, I made these mistakes. I had to go through this to get where I'm at, and it helps them, your mentees, it helps them understand. I think it helps them understand and cope with their own personal setbacks. Okay, well, this person who I look up to, who's been successful, has had all these setbacks in their life. They've had all these things they've had to overcome and made these mistakes. Look where they're at now. I think it really opens up a lot.
It does. It does. I'm a man of faith, and something that I try to live by is a particular set of scripture that says that the power of our testimony is how we're set free. And in order to have a testimony, you got to have a test. That's the root word of that. And if you can't share that with other folks, not in a bragging, boasting manner, but just, hey, I remember when I went through that, or I have a friend that went through that, or I have a family member, whatever the case may be. But sharing that, people can find strength like you would not believe when we're just willing to be open about those kinds of things, because those are the things that most people want to keep in a closet somewhere and never let it out.
Yeah. What page 3 here, right? And I know we're getting off topic, but we're staying super on topic too. Caring transparency means getting ideas and thoughts out in the open to make visible what can often be invisible under the surface. I got a great looking wall, but you know what? I've done a lot of things wrong too. It means being open and honest about what is on our minds and our hearts. We don't hold back important information out of fear of how it will be received or how we will be viewed. You're going to give your testimony. I'm going to tell people, hey, I've done something similar to this, or hey, I've never made that mistake, but here's what I think. Sitting on high and being judgmental or just trying to give great advice instead of listening and conversing openly isn't going to get you nearly as far as you think it is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's I was laughing with my platoon sergeants, last week. We just chatting, and I said, I start telling them about Private Stevens. And we was talking about our knucklehead privates. I said, man, look here, Private Stevens was no joke. If y'all could meet some of my NCOs, you know what? I might see if I can get one of them to come around, just so they can tell you about Private Stevens. Private Stevens was the truth. My safety brief every weekend in Korea was, Stevens, you better not get in trouble, boy. Well, what you mean? Well, come here, boy. Every Friday, that was my safety brief.
About that.
Yeah. I'm not saying I can see it, but just to be open and honest, I can see it.
Just being transparent. Hey, we're being vulnerable here. Hey.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I can't remember who. Actually, I do. He was my brigade sergeant major when I was here the first time at Fort Hood, and something that he used to say was that if you look at my rank, you should be able to see your rank, and if you can see your rank, that means that I've been there, and I've kept that with me. I had to wait for a long time before I could be able to say that to somebody.
Yeah.
I was just especially promotable when I first heard him say it, so I had to wait for a long time before I could do that.
That's good. Look,
but
we were doing one of our study halls for the Audie Murphy Club.
Yeah.
And it was the George Meade chapter, and our overseeing sergeant major, who's over, he's the sergeant major for the post Fort George Meade.
Okay.
He came on and he was talking to us, and he was saying, he was talking about, you know, the importance of the membership, the clubs, the members, you know, what you mean, what you stand for in the Army. And he was saying, relating it to this is my squad, like it doesn't matter what level you get to, you should still function as a squad leader.
Yeah.
Right? You should still have the importance of building your squad. So whether you are at the division level and you have your little team, you know, that's right there. Because the higher up you go, the smaller your circle becomes, right? You're where your reach is. But you're still responsible for those people that are there, and you still have to build that squad and know what's going on, how it's going on, when they're not on, when they're super on, you know. And how do we do that? Building a relationship, being vulnerable and transparent, opening up so that we're able to have that trust. And what they're talking about here, what Matt read, it said, by doing this, we strip away the power that comes with exclusive knowledge and levels the playing field. And so what does that do? It strips down those walls of what I see, and it says, okay, yeah, this person has been through some of the same things. I can trust them. I can talk to them about this, you know. And then they start seeing that these things are things that you can do too.
Yeah. You know, what you just read, Tay, it reminded me of how all three of us ended up bonding with each other back in Germany. It wasn't because of accolades or what somebody else had to say about it. It was when we all seen, which is what we're doing right now, willingness to teach and share that knowledge. Yeah. Because it's almost a lost art. And not just, I wouldn't say in the Army, that's just in leadership circles, period. People believe that if I know more than everybody, then that's how I will succeed as a leader. And that's really not the case. That the more you're willing to teach and share with people, the stronger the team is. And then that means the team can function without you. And I think that really terrifies some people of thinking that your team can function without you.
I want my team to function without me.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, you don't want to be that person that, I won't say that guy, but, you know, I don't want anybody
making complaints. You know.
You don't want to be that person that you can't go on leave, you can't take a break, you can't be sick, right? Because everything is going to go to shambles when you're out of the office. No, I need you to function without me. I'm just another piece of this machine, and I've trained you to take my place. Have at it.
Have at it.
That's a conversation I've had with a lot of my soldiers over the years. It's the idea of replaceability. It's like everybody can be replaced. Everybody needs to be able to be replaced. You know, if you can't function without one person here, we failed.
Yeah.
There's something wrong.
Yes, you know? We have.
Working in the hospital, they like to keep the numbers as, you know, give you as few people as possible to be successful. But you still have to find a way to teach all of that to be replaceable. You know, I was like, look at the highest ranking person you can find. They're going to get replaced, and they need to be replaced. I was like, you got, you know, your team, you build a better team that way.
Yeah.
You know, not, you got to make sure that you don't tell them, you know, you don't discount. By talking about replaceability, it's a fine line.
Right.
But, you know, teaching each other and all your skills and abilities just makes the team so much better.
Yeah, man. That's good.
Absolutely.
That's good.
I really, you know, I'm going to read it again if you don't mind, but I really, really, really love that line. And there's so many different ways you can take it. And we touched on two major ones, I think. But it's about sharing. By doing this, we strip away the power that comes with exclusive knowledge and level the playing field. How many times have we known somebody knows what's going on? Why are they not telling me? I was a private sitting in the tow room up in Fort Drum going, I know there's something supposed to be going on. I guess I'll just sweep and mop again. I was a squad leader going, hey, I know we're going to the field and I've done everything I'm supposed to do, but there's more.
There's more.
Hell, even as a first sergeant, you know, I sat there and went, okay, where are we going as a battalion? What is it that my role truly is on this exercise as a company, my own company? I know what I do here, but what's that bigger picture? It's that exclusive knowledge that exists that some people just don't think, well, everybody should know. And some people think, well, I send an email so everybody knows, right? And some people truly and honestly think it is my role to know this so that I can be the person in charge.
That's right.
And completely leave out the fact that because I'm the person in charge who knows this, I have to share this. I have to make sure everybody else knows this. And when we lose that, when we miss that link as leaders, we have that exclusive knowledge. It doesn't make us the man on the mountain that everybody wants to go visit. It makes us that person that they look at and go, why are you keeping this from me?
Yeah.
Why are you stopping me from doing my job? What makes you so special that you control every minute of my day because you got to feed me information bite by bite?
Right.
A little bit. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
Right.
Here you go.
Yeah. Just a taste. Here's a taste. That's
Here's
your coming back.
Here's your little.
Or my least favorite. Well, we're gonna have a meeting about that on Tuesday. It's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
No, absolutely not.
You
Do
can't
not
share
ever
this
wait for a
information
meeting
right
to put out. Wait. Don't ever wait for a meeting to put out information or to ask for information. Forget that.
I mean, that's the only time we can get and give information, right? Is when we're in our meetings that was only for the information that you could have told me about.
Yeah, that's the only time, man.
Half these meetings could have been an email. Half the emails could have been a text message.
Look, or a conference call, right? Hey, look, real quick, guys. This is what's going on. Blah blah blah. Bam. What is it? It reminds me of the analogy with the fist and the giving. You can't receive if you don't have this type of right.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So the more information that I'm receiving, I have to also give it so that I can continue to receive that information. And if you just break it down to the simplistic form, that's communication. If someone knows that I'm a communicator and I'm going to get this information, they're probably going to give me more of the information because they know I'm going to push that information. Versus if they find out that the information isn't going past this person, I'm going to start leapfrogging you and getting it to the person that I know will share the information and get it to the people that are boots on the ground making things happen.
That's right. That's right.
And
in that, Tay, I'm thinking about how folks get so frustrated with why are they asking me why? That probably means you're not sharing enough information. That's why the soldiers are asking you why.
Come on.
Share the information, and they'll understand the why.
Yeah.
Come on. Look, I can't remember what sergeant major it was, but they said if you learn how to, old school leaders, if you learn how to give the why in your briefing, and that's up and down, if they leave there asking why, then you didn't brief well. Right? But if you give them the why, up and down, senior or subordinate, then now you may have that 1 and 2 that got the deer in the headlight, and those people you may have to pull aside and be like, hey, look, what don't you understand?
That's right, and that's okay.
You can let everybody else go because they understand the why, and they're like, okay, now I got it. So when they hit boots on the ground and everything went to, Murphy has acted up, they still know the why and how to continue executing to get to that why, regardless of whatever issues popped off. But that 1 or 2, you pull them aside and you go ahead and give them that remedial training.
Yeah. They still may not get it, but
you
that's
try.
The best part. That's the best part about our Army in that shared understanding is if the majority of your group gets it. What I made a note there. Everybody knows it, so everybody owns it. You don't have to be the one to look out there and go, I'm seeing sleepy eyes and I'm seeing dead eyes, so let me make sure I talk to those two. They got squad leaders. They got teammates. They got platoon sergeants. They got everybody else who can and should also go, did you get that? Or would you just nod in your head?
Yes.
Right? Everybody knows it, so everybody owns it.
I love talking about the question why. I had when I was E5 promotable me and had yet to really lead any soldiers whatsoever, I got thrown into a position with 21 soldiers in Korea just
Oh,
overnight. I had a quick learning curve, and one of the first things I noticed is they kept asking me why. They kept asking me why all the time. Every time they kept asking me why. It's like it didn't even occur to me. It's like I know this, so I assume that they knew this because I had no experience. And I started to kind of figure it out. And one thing I realized about why is when you communicate the why and you're consistent about it, sometimes you get to the point, and I'm going to go off topic a little bit, but you get to the point where when it matters, something has to happen really quick. You know, we're all in the Army. You know, combat happens. If you've been giving the why all along, and you tell people to execute, then when it really matters, it's got to be quick. And you don't have time for the why. They trust you. They know that you're telling them to do something for a reason. You can execute and talk about why later.
Right.
yeah.
And it took me a while to learn that lesson. But I used to, because when I was new to the Army, you did not ask why. Just the leaders I had, was you asked why, you're gonna get real strong real quick.
Fist butt stroke to the head.
You're gonna get the strong hand.
That's so hard to deal with.
You said why? Meet me in the wood line.
Because I told you to. Yeah.
But Sarge. Shout out to those guys out there doing great things in the audio video world. That is absolutely. I used to call the two specific soldiers my why babies, because they would be like, why? But why? And I'm like, because I said so.
Yeah.
Because because this is what you're going to do. Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind? You don't ask why. You execute because we got to pick up trash. Because the post saw that it was fit for our unit to be the best trash pickers today. That's why. Because now you're going to be the only person picking up trash. That's why. But I learned that some people can't function without the why.
Yeah.
And like you said, Phil hit it on the head, man. When you said, once you become transparent and you say, look, it destroys my soul when you ask me why. Especially when you don't do it with tact, because some of them, they just be like, but why? Why?
Why? I don't understand.
You be like, you get them that death stare. It's like I want to activate the force and be like Darth Vader. Just choke yourself.
I know, right? That'll Full Metal Jacket. No, don't move my hand.
Like,
put your throat in my hand.
So once I learned that, Phil, and then you hit it right on the head. I learned how to start putting the why in there because it still bothered me, but I learned I was intentional about, okay, I got to try to give the why because I know somebody's going to ask why. But I also trained and taught the soldiers, look, I grew up in this era where, one, you don't talk back to your parents. You don't question them. And so I came into the military, you don't talk back. You don't
talk back to authority.
If I saw my NCO, if they said my sergeant E5 sergeant wanted to see me, I thought, what?
Why?
What
That's
did
what
I
I
do? What happened? Hold up.
Wait
a minute. Hold up. So it's like it was like Gifford execute, too easy. I'm out. Boom. Even if I didn't understand sometimes, I would just execute and I'm gonna do this task to the best of my own ability, right? Yeah. But I learned to do that, and it came to the point to when I said execute at some things, and they really need that, they would wait until afterwards and be like, Sergeant, can I talk to you real quick? And then they would say, I don't understand. And I was like, oh, it's working. Thank you, Jesus. I'm glad you didn't ask me that right at that time, because we would have been fighting. You would have got a free nap. All right. So look, caring transparency helps to put leaders on the same page as their employees, which in turn drives positive outcomes.
Yeah.
I love it.
No little U's and big I's. People will respect you and they even come to like you when you lead from a transparent standpoint. It's not about I have more rank and experience than you. This is what we have to do, and I can't do it without you.
Right. Say that again.
Can't do it without you.
Say that again.
As Matt and I was talking at dinner while he was down here for a little TDY, and we were just talking about how much we've grown as leaders. Like, I remember when I had this little pool of soldiers, and then the pool got bigger of soldiers, and then the pool got even bigger of soldiers. And I said, yeah, man, I can't even imagine. Field hospital, that's 300-400 soldiers. And he said, yeah, that's why you have first sergeants. I said, you know what? That's right. That is right. That is how the sergeant major takes care.
That's when you get to sit up in a chair and look at all the different pools and everybody in charge of them.
That's right. That's right, man. That is good. That's good. Look, it says that we look at the outcomes when both leaders and their followers see the leaders as leading compassionately with courage, presence, and transparency. So I think, and it also says job satisfaction improves, organizational commitment grows, and burnout decreases when you lead with courage, presence, and transparency. I like the article, man. It was good. It hit a lot of stuff. I mean, just from the different rabbit holes that we went in, you can see that. I mean, they're hitting on stuff, and it's not just like I don't remember. This wasn't even a military article. This was.
No. Those business CEOs writing that, and that's what it's about.
Yeah. And a lot of times we talk about in the military about the difference between management and leadership, and people got to understand that you could be a manager and not be a leader. You
Never
can be a leader, and you have to manage. You have to manage as a leader.
Yep.
And so it's so important for us to get these small nuggets and to read and to find these articles that's going to help us put tools in our toolbox so that we can go out and share those tools, right? Get the information out to our juniors and our seniors, because not every senior that we have those tools, and make our footprint better, and make the Army or whatever branch you're in better, or organization you're in.
Yes.
And I know we're trying to tie it up, but that one right there, not every leader has the tools. Every leader has the tools. Every leader has been introduced to the majority of the tools, especially senior leaders. But one that I know I had a conversation, I think with all three of you actually, at different times. We may have had a senior leader out there who was very fond of saying servant leadership. And I completely agree, servant leadership 100%. But please don't just say it, explain it. And please don't just explain it, but show it.
Yes.
Mentorship is caught, not taught, is another one that's sticking in my brain,
I like that.
And the thing is, when you go with an abstract idea, and one that bugged me for the majority of my junior years was, you've got to be a good follower before you can be a good leader.
Yes.
Well, I had a couple of, I won't say incompetent, but I had a couple of senior leaders who were not the best at the job.
Yes.
And I had to lead up, and I hated leading up, and I was not I wasn't humble about it a lot. I'm sure you guys can't imagine me not being humble.
No,
Not at all.
No.
I can't see.
I had the reason I usually wear a hat is because I got to pack the ego in. Trust me, I know.
What's that book again, Matt?
Yeah, it is. Trust me, the ego is the enemy. I know, my biggest enemy. But the point is, you get that abstract idea of you got to be a good follower before you can be a good leader. Cool. Talk to me about that. Don't just make me learn this on my own and 5 years later go, oh, now I get it.
Yes.
Have the tool, understand the tool, share the tool so that it's useful. Servant leadership. I gave a class on servant leadership, and I had a bunch of junior NCOs go, yeah, that's what that means. I've heard the words, but I didn't get it.
Right.
Share it.
Yeah.
There was an NCO that told me when it came to telling me about followership, right? And so I'm asking for a little bit more on that. What does that mean? He said, let's make it simple to where you become invested in it. He said, the type of soldier you are the type of soldiers you're going to produce. And you know how your parents tell you, like, you know what? I hope you have at least one child just like you.
Yes. Come on.
And so,
I've been saying that.
yes, the type of subordinate you are going to have at least one subordinate that's just like you. What do you want that subordinate to be like? Do you want it to be the one that's insubordinate, lacks discipline, reckless, or do you want something different? If you want something different, then you have to become something different.
Yep.
Look, you said that, and I was telling y'all about when we started this. It's called habitudes.
Ooh.
Habits and attitudes. Images that form leadership habits and attitudes. The first image is the mirror effect.
Ooh.
What did you just say, Joseph? As a leader, your followers will be a reflection of you. Not only will you attract others like yourself, but over time, those who follow you will mirror both your negative and positive characteristics. Boom.
Yep.
They do what you do, not what you say.
Hey, isn't that in life though? Even with the kids.
Even with the kids, they do what you do, not what you say.
Yeah.
So if you tell children not to do this and you do it, guess what they're gonna do?
They're gonna do it. Can't be that bad, right? Mom and dad do it.
You did it. You doing it right now. You survived.
It looks fun to me.
Look, let me go get
I
that.
can't wait till I can do it. I'm gonna do it as soon as you out.
As soon as you're not looking, I'm going to go do it.
Yeah. So it's one of those things, man. You hit that on the head. We gotta make sure that we are the application portion of what we're doing is there, so they can see us and they can see us fail at it sometimes. You know, we're not. Matt, you said we have the tools, and that is absolutely true. I have so many tools, and I'm sure you guys heard this story about my father-in-law, who told me every man should have a toolbox, or every man should have tools, right? And from that point forward, I was buying tools left and right. Every time I seen a sale on tools or whatever, I was buying tools. Doesn't mean I knew how to use those tools. I was just grabbing tools. So the next time he came over to help me fix a car, work on the car, and he said whatever, I could show him my toolbox. And my wife was with me. She was helping me buy. She was buying me tools, but I did not necessarily know how those tools function. It's still tools in my toolbox. I don't know how they all function, but I know how most of them function. So in life, we got to make sure that not only are we showing them to get these tools, but we're showing them what those tools are for and how to properly use them.
Yeah. And you know, you're saying that, Tay, is more and more often as I talk with soldiers and they're struggling with things, and I ask them, who's your teacher? Who's your mentor? And they say, I don't have one. What? Why not? There's no such thing as you make it on your own steam. No. That comes from the steam engine. And if you look at a steam engine, there's so many components that get put together that have to work together for that steam engine to produce steam.
Right.
So you need in your life, and what you just said, Tay, is impossible for somebody to do. Learn how to use those tools. You went to go collect the tools, but you still needed the teacher to show you, this is what this tool is for. This is how you use this tool. This is when you use this tool.
Right.
And you know what? You got the right tool, but this is the wrong job for it. Uh-oh. Hold on one second.
Oh, is that the meat? Don't be burning up the meat.
That's what happens when I cook too. I usually think it's just the oven timer.
Oh man. Well, look. So what? That was that article was a great article, and you just sent out another one. What's that one? Matt?
So I sent out two that we can look at for the next couple of these, or if you guys just want to read them. One of them is great mentors focused on the whole person, not just their career. And I really liked this one, and it hit me in a time that I needed it. How to thrive when everything feels terrible.
That's both of those are good, and we need both of those. Which one y'all want to do next week? I like the mentor one too. You just sent both of those, huh?
Yeah.
Let's how long is it? We could probably do
They're both pretty short. I like short articles because I don't have a lot of time.
Feel
And
that.
yeah, I know you do. So How to Thrive When Everything Feels Terrible is 4 pages. And the other one, I think, is about 3 or 4 pages as well. Great Mentors. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that one's 3.5, 4 pages as well. But they're about the same length as the one we just went over today.
Yeah, let's do the first one. Let's do the Great Mentors first, and then we'll do the How to Thrive the week after that.
Sounds good to me.
And we may have a guest leader.
Ooh. Is it the one whose invitation got lost in the mail?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, looking forward to that.
Yeah. He's like he was excited, but he couldn't make it this week. So we'll definitely have some guests pop in on us and see, share their thoughts. I'll send the articles to them as well. It's great because I'm glad we have 4 people here, so that it's not like we're sharing one perspective on any topic,
Yep.
And I love the fact that none of us have exhibited the mindset of, oh, it's this way, it is this way, it's this is how it is. This is how, like the guy was saying, right? Oh, you got to do it like this. You got to do it like, why would you do it like this? I would have did. No, we're not. This is my experience, and this is what I've learned. And what about you? What's your experience with this? And I really like that. And so, I love that part about, the podcast, but we can add other people's, because people are going to get used to it. They're going to start being like, oh, Matt's going to lean this way. Phil's going to lean this way. Joseph is going to lean this way. And Tay is just all over the place. But when we get some different people in to share their thoughts on the articles and some of the topics that we're discussing, I think it'll be good. And then whenever one of us or 2 of us not able to be in, we'll still have some more people to share their thoughts and opinions. So
I like it.
yeah, man. So what's the plan for the rest of the day, man? It's early Saturday. I already started yard work. I got to go back out there and finish.
Well, I get to work on the playhouse that I started to put together in the backyard for my daughter.
Nice.
Gotta polish that up a little bit. Might do a little archery practice with her in the backyard, and then cleaning the house and just having a day where you get to do all the other stuff that you don't do when you get home at 1900.
Yeah, exactly. What you doing? Studying, Phil?
Studying. I'm gonna pediatric test on Monday.
Woo!
It's all right. This is actually going to be a good week.
Okay.
We've got a test on Monday, and then we don't have one on Friday, and then we got a long weekend. So
That'll be good.
yeah.
How much time you got left in class, man? How much more school you got?
We got about 2 more months worth of classes before I ship off to phase 2.
Yeah.
Like 16 more exams.
16.
Woo!
Oh,
When we started this program, it was 101 exams,
And you down to 16?
and we're down to 16 now.
That's a
Major
very good number then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was perspective. I'm
Yeah.
like, dang, you got 16. Now you got 100 something. Like, hey, you only got 16, man.
you know what I'm
It's a good
saying?
number.
It's just 16.
Each
the last
one
lap.
is
That's
terrifying in its own manner.
Wow.
Look, Phil, quick question for you though. So,
Yeah.
any advice, suggestions for anybody that's looking into, applying for the program, getting into it, going to do those things? You were a medic before you switched over. You went into it, right? So,
Yeah.
What kind of advice or recommendations would you give for those people?
One of the most important things that I struggled with, and just about everybody struggles with, is learning how to study and to be efficient with their use of their time, because you have prerequisites. You have to have some classes before you come in, but you're taking 1 or 2 classes at a time, and it's not as demanding. And being able to study efficiently is absolutely the number one skill that you need to be successful coming into this program. You don't need any medical background. We have pilots, commo guys, infantry, people from all over the military. So no one should. You're learning everything. They teach you everything you need to know. So your background, you don't need a medical background to be successful in this program at all. But you have to know how to study, and you have to be committed, because it's a heavy time commitment. And I've been in for over 14 years now, and this program has by far been the most difficult thing that I've done. And I think that it's worth it. But being prepared for that, being prepared to do the hard work and put in the hours, it's kind of important, and preparing your family for what they're going into.
Yeah. Man, well, look, man, we'll be praying for your mind to stay focused.
Thank you.
Because it is a long, arduous process, and it takes special people to be able to go through it, man. And we need you because they have the program. So, we'll definitely keep you lifted up, man.
I appreciate it.
Yes. What's up with you, Matt? What you? I know you all over the place, in and out of states, everywhere.
Oh, everywhere. Yeah, well, just prepping for upcoming deployment, and just actually really looking forward to a month of pre-deployment leave, to be honest with you. I'm going to have you guys are going to get article after article throughout the month of July, because I am taking the whole thing.
Nice.
All of it. Yep. That'll probably be the first time since 2008 that I've taken anywhere near that much leave. It's been a week or a couple of days or a weekend. Nope. Taking the whole thing. Got a lot of house projects going on, working on classes for the soldiers. Everything we do here is something that I'm polishing for work, honestly. So yeah, and I have to say, I really appreciate all the input. You see me in here leaning over, it's because I'm typing notes, or I'm down here and I'm writing stuff down. I got sticky notes all over the place. I'm sticking on the iPad we're working on right now. So
that's good. That's good. Yep. That's the. It's not just for everybody else. It's for us too, right? It's leadership is leadership wherever we go. And if I didn't learn anything else from our time together, is that when we sit down, the thought process and the juices start to flow in, and you get these ideas, and you're like, you don't want to be that good idea fairy, but if it's a great idea, that those are okay still. I mean, as long as you give credit to the right people, right?
Right. Yeah. Right.
And so anytime that we can get together and we can help each other, I think that's we helpers one to another. So
that's right. And this is tool shopping right here,
Tool shopping, bro. We are and in the Army we encourage, I won't say thievery, but of ideas.
Of ideas. Yeah.
Hey, I was telling my soldiers, a new soldier, I was like, there's only one thief in the Army, and they was looking, and I was like, everybody else trying to get their stuff back. And because they haven't been anywhere, they've only been in a vet clinic or, the commissary, they did not understand what I was saying. And I was like, oh, Lord. Let me break this down. Like that communication part, right? I could see the eyes, and they was like, what?
What?
I was like, hold on, man. So this is what this means, and this is where it came from, and this is why we use that, right? So, yeah, man, no, but we are, I really do appreciate each and every last one of you guys coming in, spending an hour or so with us to just chop it up and break bread. We haven't broke bread live, but we have broken bread, shared our coffee.
Great.
And, it's a great thing, and I appreciate it. I might not be in, but being able to still have this type of relationship with my Brethren is awesome. So thank you guys.
Hey man, what you talking about? You're a soldier for life, man.
They changed the name. It's just Tap now.
Tap.
No, it's still
Tap
Soldier for
dancing your
Life.
way back in.
It's still Soldier
Just
for
saying.
Life.
Yeah.
Look, I tried to go into the recruiter station. They kicked me out. They was like, "Sir, sorry, wrong place."
Sorry.
I said, "I want to sign
Give it
up.
6
Come
months.
on, man. Let me get that 50,000 that y'all talking about."
You know?
Yeah.
But no, that song that they sing at every retirement ceremony, man. Soldiers don't never die.
Oh, soldiers never die. Look, I sing that for one of the soldiers. They was like, "Sergeant." They didn't sing it at my dad's retirement. I was like,
What?
well, sorry. I'm sorry for your dad's retirement. They didn't sing it at mine either, but it was all right.
What?
Who was putting it on? The people who've never heard it before. So
Well, yeah, that'll do it.
I sang it to myself though. I was old soldiers never die.
That's right. You just fade away.
Simply fade away.
That's it.
And then we come back on with our podcast.
That's it.
Boom! I'm
Fade
back.
back in.
What's up, fellas?
right.
And I got on my little warrior shirt too.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
It's got a little more to it. Here we go.
There
Oh
you
yeah.
go.
Ugh.
That's nice.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, Joseph, well, you were out for a second, so we talked about what we have going for the rest of the day. We know you have some service members coming over, and so what
Yeah.
else do you have planned for the rest of the day?
So we're gonna break bread, sit down. Really, I've been meaning to do this for a long time, man. Just stuff happening, and so I gotta have them over, feed them a little bit, and it'll probably be unconventional leadership talks, but just I want them to come over because a few of them are missing, but I don't think I ever be able to get all of them together at one time. But
Right.
let's just sit down, eat. Families get to meet, kids get to play together. They're gonna tear up the backyard. Brother's gonna put the slip and slide out there. It's just really building those bonds, and my time is coming real short. But I want them to understand the importance of you being able to bring people together for more than just Army stuff.
Right.
So that when it's time to do the hard Army stuff, there's no questions of loyalty. There's no hesitation. There's none of that. I 100% trust you.
Yeah.
Because I have restored my unit back to proper prestige. ForceCom has given us several missions, and they haven't had missions like this in over 10 years, man.
Oh wow.
Over
Nice.
10 years. And so with the hardness that they're getting ready to face, I want them to understand that these are the types of things that you must do. Okay? It's not
Yeah.
about your MOS. Forget about that. That leadership ain't got nothing to do with your MOS. It has everything to do with how well you can take care of people.
That's right. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Look, and on that, we're going to sign off, man.
Hey,
Leadership is
it
about
was great
taking
talking
care of
with y'all.
people, and y'all go take care of yourselves, your families, and I will see y'all back here next week. Matt, thanks for putting out the articles, man. We got
absolutely.
2 of them. Joseph, we're going to be on the mentorship one. That's the one we're reading for next week.
Okay.
Okay? All right, brothers. Y'all take it easy. And we are signing off on Coffee, Crepes, Leadership, and Pancakes.
Fantastic.
Peace.
Good to see you, brothers. Later.
Laters.